I'm Dr. Bart Rademaker, and this is the Doctor's Guide podcast, raw and unfiltered, bringing to you the possibility of optimizing your health. And how do we actually do that? Well, we're not here to sell a product. We're not here to hype up a person, or just to give you the magic pill, if you will. What we're here to do is share with you the process by which you can make better decisions to optimize your health. And what does that even really mean? Well, the thing is that our DNA, our blueprint, is the perfect programming for an optimum health. But because all the challenges in our life and all the stresses and everything we do and all the things we shouldn't do, then our health is basically suboptimal. And so, people are promoting different types of products, promoting different types of lifestyles that may or may not work for you. And so the question is that, how do you determine what best works for you? So basically what we're doing here is through role playing is helping you uncover the decision-making process by which you will make better decisions for yourself to optimize your health. And so one of my guests will actually present with a particular problem, and the other will be the guide. And through a dialogue between the two of them, help the one come to some form of resolution. Now, resolution may take hours, in general, if you go for a coach and do those kinds of things, which happens. And I get coached at least twice a month. And in fact, I get coached a lot more than that through the Sean Callaghan Unblinded group. And if you haven't heard them, you better check them out because they are just transforming the world for all of us. But what you want to know is that in this role play, it's only for about 6 minutes. So you get a sense of, well, there's a person that has the same problem I have, and there is a process by which I can come to some form of resolution. So this is going to give you hope and going to give you some clarity that there are amazing people out there that will actually help you as well. And so we're going to do that for about 6 minutes. After that, we're going to unpack it. Hopefully you'll get some very specific distinction or action step that you can take. You can reach out to my guests as well. But the bottom line is that at the end of the day, you know, um, being sick is a choice. And people get offended when I say that for many different reasons. But the truth is that with so much information out there, so many cool people out there to help guide you, it's still a choice. So Cindy and Cami, thank you for joining me today. We'll start off with Cami. Cami, just do a brief introduction of yourself. We'll then go with Cindy, and then we'll do the role play, unpack it, and then we'll wrap it up. So Cami, thank you for joining me today.
Hi there. Thank you for having me. I am Cami Baker Miller. After a cancer diagnosis, I did a complete 180 in my career and have since, over the last 5 years, become a best-selling author and intuitive coach. My true passion is teaching women how to tap into their main character energy, become their own best friend and trusted advisor, and to gain unshakable confidence in their own choices. I like to say that I am your number one high vibe hype woman, and I'm going to teach you how to love yourself more and become your own high vibe hype woman.
I love it. We need more people like you, Cami, because truthfully, so many women deserve women like you to guide them, to coach them, to see what's possible. I know you've had your own challenges and struggles, and you overcame them. And what better as an exemplar to help others transform their lives? So thank you, Cami. Cindy, a brief intro about yourself.
Yes. Hey, my name is Dr. Cindy Stark, and I'm an internal medicine physician in Gainesville, Georgia. And, when we had all this time on our hands in 2020, when the pandemic hit, I really dove deep into self-exploration, and I got certified in NLP, and I realized I was getting very burned out and not loving myself and allowing myself the time to rest and recover like I needed to. And I launched at that time a program that helps not only women physicians, but also just anyone in their second halves of their life to kind of like, if they're at a point where they're just burned out and tired and not having the life they want, learn how to use the tools of NLP and subconscious repatterning to really kind of help design the second half of their life to be the best half of their life.
So basically translated, from a doctor to a layman, right? And that's a good job that I get to do all the time. NLP is a discipline called neuro-linguistic programming. And what Cindy is beautifully saying is this, is that we are running our program, just like any computer is running a program. And sometimes there's a virus in that program and it just doesn't work and it stalls and all sorts of crazy shit happens. Oh, I just said a bad word. Oops. So the point of the matter is that there's a process by which you can be transformed when you know the right languaging, when you know how to program and all that kind of stuff. It's a beautiful thing. You know, once I discovered that, you know, many, many years ago, I felt like a little kid in a candy store, and I'm super excited that somebody as intelligent and heart-centered as Cindy out there with the background in medicine is championing this for so many women out there, because you know what, at the end of the day, we all need a coach. We all need somebody in our back pocket that's going to help guide us, or maybe it's the right shoulder or left shoulder, I forget which one it is, but we all need that person in our life. So thank you, Cindy, for all the great things that you do. All right, Cami, we'll jump in. You have a problem, and Cindy will be your guide.
Okay. So I am launching a program soon for and it's it's my passion project. I've actually lived the program, gotten through, so I feel very, very comfortable with the material. I tend to have this pattern where I get almost to the edge of the cliff and it's really hard to dive in, like to jump off. The visibility is what gets me. It's that feeling of fear surrounding being visible and feeling unsafe.
So what do you do when that happens?
I've really been trying to take the next right step every time. But I also have this tendency to feel like, oh, this morning I woke up, I felt like this melancholy feeling, like, and when I really dove into it, it was like, I'm just never going to get there. Something is going to stop me every time. What can I do to ensure that I don't stop myself this time?
Okay. Well, if I may, I think I'd have to do a very abbreviated version of this, but I would like to do kind of like a belief clearing with her. Is that okay? So can I just have you close your eyes, Cami? And I just want you to take a couple of deep breaths in through your nose and out through your mouth. And again, in through your nose and out through your mouth. And just kind of like think back exactly what this feels like. Just really feel it in your body, what it feels like when you are kind of on this cliff where you're really knowing that you want to launch this program and open your mouth and speak what you're about to say. And tell me where that fear, kind of like, what does it feel like in your body?
Uh, it it just feels like almost like I'll be discredited. Um, mm, yeah, just a fear that people say I don't know what I'm talking about, and who are you to do that? And yeah, who are you to do that?
Okay, if that thought of who are you to do that were to have a color and a shape and a density and a location within your physical body somewhere, just kind of really tap into that feeling and tell me, what would that color and that feeling be?
It's kind of a grayish, like a murky grayish brown feeling, and it's kind of centered like on the left side of my head in the front.
Okay. Is it smooth or rough?
It's almost like you can put your fingers in it, like it gives, but you get stuck in it. That makes
Okay. 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 Well, can you ask your subconscious mind if you're willing to have an experience of this and have it let go in your body today?
Yes.
Okay. So if you were to imagine the very first time you ever were to feel this gray, murky brown feeling, kind of like jello on the side of your head, How old will you say that you were when you very first felt that?
Probably really remembering it around 6 or 7.
Okay. So I want you to take your 6 or 7-year-old version of Cami and just tell her that you're going to come and gather some resources for her and see if she's willing to do that with you today.
Yes.
Okay. So what was happening at the time of that 6 or 7-year-old version of Cami when she felt this?
I had started at a new school. I was the new kid. I was the youngest kid in the class. And everyone teased me.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, told me I was ugly and skinny, picked me last for the teams. Whenever we'd play kickball on the playground at recess. Yeah.
Okay. What did little 6 to 7-year-old Cami need? I want you to like really be there for her right now. See what she needs and just ask her what it is that she needs to feel healthy, whole, and healed right now.
She needed to be seen for who she was.
What else? It can be something tangible like a lollipop, or it can be something intangible like a feeling of acceptance. Anything she wants. She can have anything she wants. What does she
She
need?
needed to feel like she belonged.
Okay. All right. For sake of, oh, sorry, go ahead.
Okay, she wasn't an outsider.
Okay. So for sake of time, we're just going to resource her right now and we're going to give her what she needed. So I just want you to keep your eyes closed. And I just want you to imagine that you're tapping into God's healing, love, and wisdom, and into that hue of light where all of acceptance resides. And I want you to give little Cami, little 6 to 7-year-old Cami, a feeling of being seen for who she was. I want her to feel that in her heart. And then I want you to give her that sense of belonging. And then when you're ready, I want you to just take a couple of deep breaths and come back out, and we're going to talk about what we just did. When you're ready, you can open your eyes and come back into the room. So, how are you feeling, first of all?
Surprised that was where I went.
Okay, and really quickly, because I know we're on time. If you were to take that feeling of a fear of being discredited, and you were to try to feel that right now, what would that feel like in your body? And what color or shape or density and location would that have in your body right now?
Kind of moved down into my heart center, so I don't necessarily feel it. I actually tapped into the higher self energy.
Okay, that's wonderful. I know we probably went way over.
That's
So
good.
we'll unpack it. But
Is that a wrap, Cindy?
yeah, that's good. Yes, sir.
Great, awesome. Well done, both of you. So, and thank you for being so vulnerable, Cami. So what was that for you?
It was very interesting because we've done those kind of timeline exercises before, and I've gone to different places, and I thought I had cleared just about everything. So it was really interesting to have that come up.
Sweet. Cindy, what was that for you?
Yeah, I was very aware this is usually at minimum a 15-minute process I do with my clients. And so I was very aware that I had 6 minutes. So I'm just really thrilled that Cami got some relief, and that feeling, that gray blob in her head has at least transmuted somewhat, and she was able to be resourced in such a small amount of time.
Awesome. And that's just a testament of what's actually possible. And let me just give a brief context for those listeners that are not familiar with any of this. So basically, again, as I've shared earlier, we're running programs, and these programs are learned programs or downloaded programs ever since we were children. And in fact, even before we were born. But that's another conversation for another day. And so these programmings are happening all in our conscious mind. And basically they're running they're running a show of our adult lives as well. And unless you're very familiar with the actual programming, how it's working for you or not working for you, then you may have behavior that does not serve you at all. And so said more simply is that when you feel some inner discontent, inner imbalance, inner frustration, or whatever negative feeling you have, it's really because there's a program that's running that's not serving you. And so part of the experience that you just shared with us, Cindy and Cami, was going back to time where this program was basically installed. You don't have to even know what the details are, but then be able to transmute that into something else and letting it actually go, because now as an adult, you've got the maturity to understand and unpack those experiences that were not serving you, and that immature brain of yours made decisions about yourself that weren't true, and therefore show up today. And the only other thing that I want to share with Cami is simply this, is that you got this, you'll make it happen, it's going to work. And maybe I'll ask a little more later on, but now Mike, back to both of you.
Yep. So one thing I wanted to really make sure the listener knows that is unfortunately not common knowledge is that when we're using the power of the subconscious mind and the language of the subconscious mind, it doesn't know how to handle negatives. So when she tells me I felt like I was the outsider, instead I said, tell her that she belongs. So you're always wanting to use the positive version of anything negative that's going on in your subconscious to kind of plant new beliefs. So the subconscious mind doesn't speak in negatives.
Cami?
I like that. I remember when I was going through my NLP training, my coach actually said, don't think of a blue tree. It's impossible not to think of a tree. So it's kind of that, I like that little theory.
Well, it's supposed to be blue elephant, not blue tree. Come on. But so for the listener, I would love for both of you, since you're experts at NLP, and I've already said enough, expand it a little bit so the listener understands that this is a real process that actually works. And so, a listener might be watching this, well, this is crazy, this is silly, and to be totally transparent, I trained for 17 years in the medical field, and I thought all this stuff was nonsense until I actually fell into that world and discovered the beauty of personal transformation throughout that. But just share a little bit more context as to how this actually can work for us. For those novices that have no idea that this actually does work.
Well, one thing I'll say, it's kind of a huge thing to say, and I'll try to say it really simply, is when I realize that the language that the subconscious mind uses is in pictures and in your sense and all your five senses that you have. And then the further I went into all this study of self-improvement, and I went into studying a lot of Joe Dispenza's work in the quantum field. And I realized that we think that we're physical mass, we can see our hands and touch our bodies. But really, when you look at it on a molecular structure, every cell that's in our body is 99% vapor, if you want to call it that. And so a lot of what we operate in is the energy. And so if you can just really do yourself a favor and try to every day imagine your preferred state of whether it's what you want to accomplish in a day or what you want to accomplish in this week or this quarter or this year, and really get into the feeling of it, you literally will attract things to you that are in that same vibration. And there's a whole, vibrational scale of everything from enlightenment all the way down to shame and guilt. And when you don't know what kind of power you have, you feel like you're just almost like a victim to the circumstances of your life, where you really are very powerful in being able to dictate your emotional state every day.
And basically, having someone like Cindy guide you through that process. I mean, it's not something you just do on your own, but they're both experts at this. Cami, you wanted to say something?
The only thing I would add to that is a lot of people might think that's really hard to do, to feel in like how you want to feel and feel that way. But truly, if you can just sit there for even starting out with just 1 minute a day, feeling that way, how you would feel if you had everything you wanted, 1 minute a day is enough to shift your reality drastically.
Yep.
I love it.
It
All right,
doesn't
well,
have
let I'm sorry, what, Cami?
it doesn't have to be hard. We just like to, as humans, make it hard.
So I really want to thank you both for sharing this invaluable information with us, simply because it's a testament to what is possible out there. And once again, as I shared earlier, the pain within us is that signal that we are wanting to do the work, as scary as it might seem. And a lot of different reasons will show up, fear of being rejected or not being loved, and all these different things. But the reality is that you've got a gift that people deserve. You have a value that many people will accept and cherish, because you're going to have that ability to transform their lives. And here's the thing that really will show up, absolutely, Cami, is that you're going to have a lot of naysayers. And you're going to have a lot of people that will tell you that this is wrong, you're a fraud, you're this, you're that, and whatever. But the reality is that, behavior is either a cry for help or an act of love. And so these people are crying for help because they're saying all these negative things about you. And that's also for the listener. I mean, if you've got a great plan, a great project, great mission in life, and you absolutely believe in it, as clearly Cami does, you're going to have a lot of naysayers out there. And that's just a testament to your grit to move forward and make a big difference. And quite frankly, even if it's just changing one person's life, that's already a given, because if you can save one person, then that's already an amazing gift. But I know that you'll be doing a lot more, because what you're sharing with us, Cami, and I can't wait for your launch to happen. And I know you'll share some details with us on that, but this can absolutely transform people's lives, because not everybody can afford a coach. But why not be your best coach? Why not be your best friend? Why not talk to yourself in the mirror and say, hey, you know what? I love you. And okay, what's the problem? What's the solution? And just letting the unconscious mind roll and to do all that. So how do people find you, Cami?
I am across all social platforms at Cami Baker Miller, Cami, TikTok, Instagram, and Facebook. I share a little bit different content on TikTok. And then I have a Substack blog. It's called How to Live TF Out Loud.
Awesome. And any final words you want to share?
I am just really thankful to have been given this opportunity to sit here with you guys. This has been a phenomenal conversation, very enlightening, and I just had a great time.
Great, thank you. Cindy, how do people get a hold of you, and last words?
Yeah, so I can be found at drcindystark.com, and I'm only on Facebook and Instagram, and it's Cindy Stark. And I haven't figured out how to do TikTok yet, but that's okay. Other people can do that one. And my final takeaway really is, again, just how it was amazing to be able to have the vulnerability of Cami. I know she trusts me, but to be able to do some timeline therapy on, kind of like in public for the first time. And I just appreciate her vulnerability and this opportunity, Dr. Bart.
No, thank you for that. And it does require a lot of vulnerability to, show up, on this platform, but also for yourselves, and giving yourself permission to be human, but also giving you permission to let go of whatever's holding you back and move forward into the future that really you do deserve. And so that's why we do have this podcast. And so I invite all the listeners, to take note of any distinction you got today. There is hope, there is clarity. Maybe it's not specifically here, but my hope is that it is, or at least that possibility is absolutely out there. Reach out to my guests and any of my guests on the podcast. Look at on iTunes, Spotify, iHeart, Rumble. And so look up the titles that really serve you the best, and listen in to how you can make better decisions for yourself. So once again, I want to thank Cindy and Cami for today. Thank you for being so vulnerable. And thank you for teaching us some new insights that people can use. And I am Dr. Rademaker, and this is the Doctor's Guide podcast, raw and unfiltered, and we will be back.